Hey everybody, welcome to Sunday Slowdown at J&J Acres. And boy, let me tell you, it's really good to talk to you guys today. We haven't done a single thing all weekend. we may have been a little bit busy, just a little bit.
And this running after a migraine on Friday.
Yeah. Hey, look, if it's your first time being with us, we are a small family homestead. Small in the sense of 7 acres, not small in the sense of 5 children and mom and dad. So we're a big family on a small farm is what we like to say. And we are in East Central Mississippi. We like to share with you our DIY projects, how we do and fix things, little projects that we come up with. We like to share with you our gardening and our animals and all those kind of things that we do every week to try to be a little bit more self-sufficient. So if that's something that interests you, not only are we happy to have you here for our live show tonight, but please go to the channel at youtube.com/JNJAcres and check out the over 500 videos that are there for your viewing pleasure. You can even dig into the playlist if you're only interested in one particular thing like beekeeping or gardening, and just watch all the videos that are about those things. So check it out, and don't forget to share the videos. You know, my friend Tommy Alderman that I saw was on earlier did a great video on his channel. Tommy, you're a mod, so drop that link where he talked about the 3 best things you can do to show your support for your favorite YouTube channels. Make sure you go follow all of Tommy's advice. Those are the best things you could do to help out his channel, our channel, or anybody else that you like watching on YouTube. Alright, so before we go too far, let me remind you that if you have any questions, leave them in all capital letters so that Jennifer can see them, and then she'll tell me what they are. Because if I sit here and stare at the chat, then I just lose all track of time and we don't get anything accomplished. So my wing lady here makes sure that the questions get answered all throughout the show. All right, so.
We already have a few comments.
Do we?
Yeah.
Do I really want to know what they are?
Probably not.
Let's see here. No red shirt. Everybody's making fun of my pre-show antics, trying to act like Jim Kirk, huh? That's funny.
No, not all Jim.
No, well, yeah, but their reference is to the original Star Trek, the original series. So that's funny. So, if any of you that are talking about red shirts were any sort of a decent Trekkie geek, and I might be, you would know that while the red shirt is a thing that we all joke about, it's not true. People have done the studies. I'm telling you, you need to go back and check it. The red shirt was not the most dangerous shirt to have in an away mission. So, I mean, I'm just telling you. I don't know what the heck that has to do with homesteading, but I'm in command, so I wear the red shirt. I'm not original series. I'm next generation. So. Alright, that's enough of that. Before you know it, we'll get back into egg jokes at this rate. Alright, so.
That's excellent, Jim.
If she can manage to stop laughing, Tracy is here tonight because she has actually just read all of the comments that you all left on her recent planting video. So there you are, Tracy. The show's yours. There's, in that camera right there, is the entire world. So tell them whatever you want to tell them.
Thanks, guys, for commenting on my video. You guys have inspired me to do this. I've been watching my dad, which has been helping me think, hey, why not give it a try? And let you guys know, the next video will be coming out soon, and I guess I'll see you when it comes out.
Everyone says hi.
Look at them all. So something about that, Tracy has already filmed that video, but we ran into a problem when there was a lot of sunbursts and glares in that video, so she's going to have to refilm it so that it's something where you guys can really see what was going on nice and clearly. and we're supposed to have thunderstorms the next couple days, so that's going to probably push back her next video a little bit longer. But Tracy, you want to give them a sneak peek and tell them whether or not things are going good or bad?
Things are going great, and tell me, and let you know, we're gonna have a lot of food when
There you
it's
go.
finished.
Awesome. All right, well, thanks for visiting, and go make sure your brothers stay quiet, okay?
Okay.
All right. Love
See
you.
you later.
All right. Y'all, I know that she is putting out good videos, and she's really filming those all on her own, and it's I'm doing all the video editing, and I can't help but be just a hair nervous every time she brings me the camera and says, "Here it is, Daddy," and I'm like, "Oh boy, what do I have to work with here?" Because usually when I shoot a video, I have an idea in my mind. I don't do storyboards on the wall or anything like that, but I have an idea in my mind on what the finished video is going to look like, and what overlay videos or pictures I'm going to do or anything like that. And so when Tracy comes in, I don't know what the material is. It's just like, here's a camera, make a video out of it. Yes, ma'am.
I kind of did that to him today, too.
Yeah. But anyway, I sincerely appreciate you guys leaving her positive feedback, and I'm sure she's off to a better start than I was when we started doing this 4 years ago, just in her confidence, because she's seen me fumble and stumble with it, and she's seen the couple videos that I have been able to put together, and so her confidence is growing, and that means a lot to me as a father, that you're helping her with that by giving the positive feedback and everything. So.
And it's something Tracy needs too, because she has a hard time with confidence in other areas. So,
you know, as far as being on video goes, I catch myself almost every time having to bring my volume back down, my tone of voice back into a more conversational kind of speech pattern, and not you know, trying to do an infomercial. And I noticed that Tracy's still learning that. You know, she, you know, just right there, I mean, that was my daughter in her voice, but that's not her normal persona. She was putting on a persona for the video. And she's got to learn how to bring that back down and just be herself. So we'll see how that goes over time. All right. So let's talk a little bit about what has been going on. We've got some other comments going on here. Her videos are great. She shows great confidence in them. That comes from Jen's Home. Thank you very much. And she doesn't jump on YouTube or have her own account or anything, so, you know, I just bring up the video and scroll down to the comments and tell her to read. So
so she does get to see all the direct comments from her videos.
Yeah, we don't just tell her what people said kind of thing. And you know, it's interesting, I'll tell you this, and this is kind of getting on into the mind of an 11-year-old. She said today, oh gosh, what is it? 2 weeks and she'll be 12?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Y'all, her birthday's March 8th and she'll be turning 12. That's crazy. She wasn't but what, 4 months old when we moved to Mississippi?
March, April, May, June, July,
4 months old when we moved to Mississippi, and now she's about to turn 12. Man, I mean, I know I'm not old, but that really makes you feel like time just flies, thinking about the age of your own children. I mean,
it does.
It's pretty amazing. Anyway, she asked me today, this kind of gets to, on two different things here, the mind of a preteen and what they're really thinking about, and also that it is that her confidence, you know, she's not scared of being in front of the camera. She asked me today, Daddy, how old do I have to be to make money with my YouTube videos? Now she doesn't know this, and now that the door is closed, I'll tell you, I fully intend on, if her video makes money, paying that to her. Because, I mean, let's be honest here, 1,000 views might get you $4 if it's a good month, okay? Maybe 5 if it's a really good month. her videos still haven't reached 1,000 views between the two of them. So on one hand, that's neat that she's thinking about that this could be, you know, a job. This could be her business, is producing YouTube videos. And I'm glad that she has enough confidence in herself to want to try to do that. But the other side of it is we don't pay our kids an allowance. So there isn't any money to be had unless relatives send it in a birthday card. So that's another side of it, is she wants some pocket money. But anyway, that's a fun little aside for you there, and get into the mind of a kid. Let me close a couple of these browser tabs and pull up a list of what videos came out recently, and we'll talk to you a bit about those. All last week there was a video every night of the week at 8 p.m. and going into next week that pattern is continuing. There's going to be a new video every night at 8 p.m. for the foreseeable future. There's just that many things going on the homestead, and we are doing our best to try to film every single thing that we do and put it into a meaningful video to share with you guys. Now, my channel is not popular enough to put out more than one video a day. I know that there's some really dedicated viewers out there who would watch 2, 3, or 4 videos that all came out in one day. But what I've seen in the past when I've done that is, even though if I have a video that goes out 2 days ago and it gets 300 views, if I put out 2 other videos that day, they might each only have 100 views. So I lose views doing that, and this is something we do to make money on the homestead, and so losing those views means an awful lot. So for now, we're going to stick with just 1 video per day, as long as our schedule keeps that up. And maybe one day, if the videos are popular enough, we'll put out more than 1 per day. But for now, that's where we're at. And quite honestly, it's already hard enough to keep up with 1 a day. Alright, so let me see if I can figure out where we are, because it gets kind of messy in the background of YouTube when you're trying to figure out when something got published. Let's see, so last week was all of the beehive stuff. So we had 3 days of us going into the beehive colony. Not 3 days, 3 videos of the whole event. We went into the beehive colony, inspected it in general. Then we brought all those frames inside and we harvested the honey. And then we went back outside, we added in the beetle traps, the paper that we're doing, and buttoned everything back up and talked about why we were trying to keep the hive with empty frames in it rather than just try to split it and make a second hive. One thing that kind of came out that I'll mention now is we had some really nice positive feedback. I love positive feedback. And somebody said something to the effect of that they love the video, but they would really appreciate if we did some closer shots. And some other people were asking about the trap in general, using the paper towels as a trap, and how that actually works and why it works and how to do it and those kind of things. So what I'm about to tell you isn't going to come out for a couple weeks, but just today we shot a video, and Jennifer went handheld with a camera, while we also had a camera on the tripod, and we got nice, good up-close footage, explained everything in detail, and still kept it around the 10-minute mark while we went through the hive. So, and we've even got some special video where we put some insects, some small hive beetles, under the microscope, and you get to see how everything works up close and personal. So I hope you enjoy that video when it comes out. But man, I tell you, that positive feedback, and I think a lot of it is because sometimes people get worried, how is somebody going to take this if I say something?
Yeah.
Especially online. You don't really know me. Well, some of you do, but most of you don't really know me. And if you come onto my video and say, hey, Jared, could you please put some up-close shots next time? You don't know whether or not I'm going to be a turd about that, or if I'm going to say, hey, that's a great point, thanks so much for letting me know, or whatever. But for the brave ones who step out there, because, you know, on the internet there's going to be those people where you could say, gee golly whiz, mister, I really love all of your videos, you're the greatest YouTuber ever, could you please do this next time? There's that person who's going to jump down your throat for saying any kind of, would you please do this next time? But I am the exact opposite of that, and I love hearing the feedback. And with that, we've already started making some changes on how we're shooting videos to try to make it to be the kind of quality of content that you're actually looking for, and can be more useful to you. Somebody else made a simple comment in one of the videos and said, hey, I love what you're doing, but could you explain why you're doing this? And I didn't even realize that throughout the whole video I was showing what I was doing, the how of what I was doing, but I never explained why I was doing it that way. And, you know, it was just another great positive feedback situation where somebody was able to make it so I can make the videos better, which can make it better for them. It's very much a help me help you kind of situation. So thanks for all of those that helped me. All right, let's see here. So what can I tell you? We got the bees home on Saturday. We had another clear morning on Sunday, a warm morning. So we immediately jumped into the hive on Sunday and cleaned it out. And the whole point of this, from the person we bought the colony from, they wanted us to give it a good solid cleaning, which I guess is just kind of like spring cleaning your own house, and you're helping the bees do a spring cleaning. And he emphasized specifically to get in there and scrape the bottom board. So we worked through every single frame, knocking off the burr comb, knocked off some of the excess propolis around the edges of the frames or on the edges of the hive body boxes, got all the way down to the bottom board and scraped all the dirt out of that and gave them a nice clean hive. And so far things are looking really good. And even though we got 2.5 gallons off of that hive that day, we're looking at the potential of doing another honey harvest possibly in a week if the bees keep putting the honey up. Now we have some storms in the forecast, so it's possible the bees are going to stay inside the hive and use some of that honey. But when we were in it earlier today, there were a couple frames that were like half capped, and there were some frames that were like half full. And I mean, if they keep going the way they're going, we're just going to keep harvesting honey off that until about mid-June. So we'll see where it goes. But we do have another box on standby to put on top, another honey super to put on top with a couple frames, should we need to actually do that in order to stay ahead of them. Chili Expat Family asks, how much do bees cost in the USA now? Well, I don't want to say how much I bought mine for, because I kind of had a friendship deal, but I believe a package of bees goes for the $200 to $250 range, something like that. I really don't know. I haven't bought bees from a commercial provider in a little while. I don't know. I know there's Brushy Mountain Bee Farm. I like looking on their website to order stuff, and I believe they sell nukes and packages, or at least packages. And they're based in the USA, so you could go on there and try to see what they're going for.
Freaky Geek 2 says a nuke in Canada is $200 last time they looked. Not sure if that includes shipping or not.
Okay.
And Chili Expat Family asked you whether or not the honey flow is on there now.
There are some plants that are already starting to come out in nectar. It's not really the full honey flow yet. We did have a very mild winter for our area. Not that winters get bad here at all. I'm not trying to say winters are bad in Mississippi, but just the general cold wasn't there at all this winter, or it was there rarely and sporadically. So some things are starting to bloom, and the bees are starting to bring in nectar. So
a package in central North Carolina is about $110.
And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I've
However,
never bought a package.
A nuke in Chile only costs $60 US.
That's pretty cheap. You're not going to get anybody around here to give you 5 frames with brood and all that kind of stuff for $60. I just
Not
don't see
unless
that
you're
happening.
really good friends and they're trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, and even then,
Mm.
not that good of a deal. So anyway, that's what we were doing in that first video. The second video, the harvest. I was worried too many people were going to think that either I was a complete idiot or something was wrong with our equipment with how much the honey extractor, as they call it, was wobbling around. And I hope I explained in the video that it was because it was off balance. It's supposed to hold 9 frames. We only had 7 in there. So on one side there were 3 frames of honey that were full, and then on the other 2 sections there were only 2 frames of honey, and so it was off balance, and it was just like having an off balance washing machine or something. And so we had to lay human bodies across the top of that thing to really get it going and sling out the honey. We'll probably try to shoot a better video of actual honey extracting when we can get a good full amount of frames in there that are equal on honey. Now those honey extractors, if you have what a lot of people call a honey house, some place where you process the honey and not just your dining room with the table moved out of the way like ours, those extractors, the legs, you can bolt them down and keep them in place even better. So even when you have something like an unbalanced load, you don't have to worry about it wobbling around so terribly. But I'm not putting bolts through my linoleum just to be able to harvest honey a couple times a year.
Rain Country Homestead asks, you have human bodies laying around?
Yeah, 7 of them. Come here, little human. Lay over here. Yep. We talk pretty weird in our family, to be honest with you. And I don't know where it first came from. I'm going to go off on a tangent here, and hopefully Jennifer can rein me back in.
You kidding? I'm the one who's usually leading the circus.
And I'm trying to remember if it was Tracy or Kaylin that first said something about the other humans, or the humans.
I think it was Kaylin.
Yeah. One of our kids said something funny. She was talking about like friends at the park or something like that. And she said, "Daddy, are the humans going to be there?" And I've run with that ever since. That's why if you've been to a couple of our pre-shows, when I first started up, I'll say, "Hello, humans," or something like that. It's just been an ongoing joke ever since that, we're not from here. Hello, humans. All right, I'm going to try to get back on. And then, so after the honey harvest, then we put everything back together. And really that video will kind of get 1,000 times better when the one that we shot today gets put out. And you'll actually get to see what the whole point of the beetle traps is, how that actually works, and why we're doing it, and all that kind of good stuff. So that is what's going on there. So let's see, that accounts for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. On Thursday, I showed you about how we're going to use a green stalk vertical garden as a potato tower. So the idea behind this is, you've seen the potato towers online where people talk about, you plant a potato and you add in, feet of dirt over time, and you're supposed to get this gargantuan bucket of potatoes. Well, there's a couple issues with that. Almost always they neglect to mention that you need an indeterminate potato, one that will actually keep putting out roots higher and higher up as you add more and more soil to that amount. I'm not talking about just a 1-foot hill that most of us are familiar with in like a traditional row. I'm talking about the 3 to 4 feet kind of potato towers. The other problem is how long we can grow potatoes here in Mississippi. It gets so hot so quick that potatoes are really like a cool crop for us, Irish potatoes anyway. So we got to get Irish potatoes in very early, about a month before the last frost, and they will grow quick. Then they will go dormant in the heat and die off, and then you wait a little bit for the tubers and you pull them up. So one thing that I thought we would do is, by doing it in this tower, we're still only using 4 square feet of ground, still going vertical about 4.5 feet But by having multiple plantings and not just one potato at the bottom trying to make one gargantuan plant, see how much of a production we get out of that. So there we go. Chili Expat Family asks, I'm guessing that your soil is sandy there in Ole Miss. You can't say Ole Miss because that might be, showing some kind of affiliation to a college team, and I don't play that game. And one of my good friends, Tommy's on, and he's a big LSU fan, and I don't want to get involved with that. So let's just say here in Mississippi. Our soil was tested and came back as being sandy loam.
In one spot.
No, that was the multiple boreholes mixed together and all that kind of good stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So sandy loam. But Jennifer is right, because we had a whole bunch of topsoil where the house sits that all got pushed off into the back, what is now the backyard, and then they put the house down here. Put the foundation down and all that kind of stuff. And so now there are certainly parts of the yard where you can't go down a half an inch without hitting red clay. And then there's other parts that you can go to and it feels like it is strictly sand because of runoff and things like that. But you can go 20 feet back over here to the edge of the woods and get nice dark black soil. So I mean, we got just about every darn thing on here except rock.
You can't find rock unless it was put here.
Yeah, every piece of rock on this property was moved here. We've dug 5 feet deep in some places on this property, and there's no rock, plain and simple. So, Sheps for her said, I never knew different potatoes grew differently. Honestly, the first time I tried doing a potato tower, neither did I. And somebody had to point that out to me. And they said, well, Jared, this isn't going to work because you're not using an indeterminate potato. And I said, I ain't never heard no such thing. I started to think that it was like our 5-year-old who kept saying tomatoes and potatoes at the same thing. And I'm like, they don't know what they're talking about. And then I went and started searching around, and sure enough, there are indeterminate potatoes, just like there are with tomatoes, which they come from the same family. I thought it was pretty neat, so you can check that out.
Freaky Geek thinks that no rocks should be a fantastic problem to have.
Well, it should be, unless the replacement is clay.
You should tell her about our driveway.
Well, yeah.
That's a very expensive no rock problem.
Yeah, our driveway turns into a big mud pit. That's basically what it goes to, and we have to pay for rock to get it put down just so we can drive onto the property. That's another video coming out another time, so you just have to watch for that.
Yeah.
All right, so the potato tower, that's what we're doing there. There's no new information about that, but that's why I'm trying it. I'm trying to get many potato plants, short potato plants, determinate varieties, small potato plants to grow in there, and I think it will work. First off, because we've grown in a green stock before and really love the results. But also because that inside pocket is fully connected, so they have a lot of root space to be able to develop. And we're only going to grow the Norland Reds and the Yukon Golds and the Adirondack Purple or Adirondack Blue. So they're not huge potatoes anyway. I'm not trying to grow big russets or something like that.
And we're growing sweet potatoes. They're just not in the...
Yeah, we've got our slips started. That's another video coming out soon. We got the slips, or we're starting the slips. We don't have slips yet, but anyway. All right, so that gets us up to...
Okay, so now I'm being made fun of. Susan
Don't you dare
Sullivan...
make fun of my boy.
Susan Sullivan very simply said, sugar sand? I asked, what is sugar sand? She said, you're kidding, right? What is sugar sand?
We could ask Leah. She likes to put everything in her mouth. Maybe she found that it tastes kind of sugary. Maybe she's just talking about how fine it is.
Maybe.
But I don't know. I haven't heard the term sugar sand either, and I've been to Master Gardener certifications, permaculture certifications, but I'm not a soil conservation expert. So what did she say?
No, this is
No?
someone else.
Okay.
Will heat be a problem for your potatoes?
Well, only in the sense that because of our heat, they won't grow as much as they could if we were a couple zones north.
Colored sugar.
So, there you go. Colored sugar.
White sand.
Oh,
Really,
okay.
it's so mixed into the clay that we can't really tell the color.
Well, there's a couple places where we get white sand. Like, there's that one area on the driveway that's almost entirely sand from all the washout, and it's pretty
That's
white
true.
sand. So if that's what sugar sand is, then yeah, we have sugar sand.
Hmm.
All right, so the next thing is the planting of the succulents in a cocoa trough planter. Um, Yeah, that was a binge buy. I was at Lowe's for something else, and I saw they had the succulents out, and it just hit me that this trough planter hasn't had anything in it for a couple seasons, and that maybe the succulents would do well there because we don't water it, and it doesn't get very much water. It's under the eave of the house, it's under the grape arbor, and all those kind of things. And what could we possibly grow there? So we put in succulents, and then last night we got down to 28 degrees and Jared forgot all about the succulents. So we will see just how well or not they survived. Time will tell. But that's what that whole video was about, was really an impulse buy. But hopefully get something useful out of it if the aloe lives. And be able to do that, because rest assured, with 5 kids and hot Mississippi weather, we get burns. So it'd be nice to have the aloe on hand. And something I didn't realize until here recently. Did you know people don't just put aloe on the skin? They actually mix it in drinks and drink it as well.
Yes.
I didn't know that. That was new to me. I never heard of such a thing.
The only reason I know it though is because they sell aloe pills.
Do they really?
Yep.
That's news to me too. I had no idea. But hey, okay.
So Suburban Hillbilly says that they turned Georgia red clay into beautiful sandy loam. It only took 20 years.
Yay! Only 20 years.
And if you have clay, it's a safe bet you don't. If you don't have it, you don't know what it is.
That's true. Yeah. If you've never tried to put a shovel through red concrete. What's sad about that, though, is let's say right now you decide to sell your home. That real estate appraiser isn't going to care that you spent all that time making pliable, that's not the right word I'm looking for. I'll go with a viable, but that's not the word I was looking for either. Good soil that could be able to be used to grow crops or things like that. They come in and they look at the square footage of your home and how old the plumbing is and all those kind of good things. But you sit there and tell them that we moved in here on red clay, and look, you could grow a garden in the backyard. You could till with a butter knife or something like that, and they're just not going to care. And that's a shame, really, because I think that would be something that should be noted. If we ever sell this place, I'm gonna make sure it's in the listing, even if it doesn't get me any extra pennies on selling the place. So.
Walmart sells gallon jugs of aloe in the produce section.
I don't know if it's both of them. Holly and Joey Baird up there in Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. They're really good with the scientific side of things, and they say if soil gets to 85 degrees Fahrenheit, potatoes will die. Best soil temp is 65 degrees Fahrenheit. So we'll see. We'll just see how things go. And I know that it's not going to let you guys post a link, but if you want to post the affiliation of the radio station that you guys are going to start having a show on, if they do a live stream or if they do a web stream, maybe some of the viewers here can look up the website for that radio station. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener is going to be doing an actual radio show, not a podcast, not something like that, but like an actual drive down the highway and listen to them on the radio. So hopefully they can put some information in the description there, and y'all can check that out.
Perceiving Alive said red concrete. We put in fence posts in West Tennessee, and the post hole digger sent up sparks.
I've done that. I've sent up sparks with a post hole digger before.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, that's kind of great. And I didn't realize until I had dreamed a couple years ago, not even a couple years ago, about a year ago, of moving back to Colorado. We used to live in Colorado, And about August every year, when it's 110 outside and 100% heat index and the mosquitoes are crawling through your hair,
The size of birds?
right about there, every single year, I think to myself, I'm going to move back to Colorado. And I didn't realize until I did that last time that they make a propane-powered T-post pounder. I think I said that right. So this thing is powered with little packs of propane, and it hammers the T-post down into the ground for you. And I'm like, that's bad. I don't. Maybe rock is worse than clay.
Careful with ingesting aloe. It can cause some pretty bad side effects if you overdo it. Thank you, our little homestead.
Well, and that's the difficulty with most apothecary kind of things. You know, the one thing to be said about modern medicine is that it's standardized.
Mm-hmm.
You know that pill has 5, 10, 15, 300, 500 milligrams of whatever you're looking for.
And you can Google what the max you can take is.
Right. Now, when it comes to home remedies, you have the rules of thumbs and the way grandma did it and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, is my aloe vera more potent than your aloe vera, or my apple cider vinegar more potent than yours? And so, you know, that's not to say not to learn about it and not to give it a try, but it is good to say, you know, a little dabble do you to begin with, and step yourself into it. So that's good.
And apparently for aloe, that's exactly what you need to do because it's a natural laxative.
Oh, mercy. You know quick if you took too much, I imagine.
Yeah.
All right, so let me see here. That takes us all the way up to Tracy's video with the planting. And other than editing it, I wasn't there for it even being filmed, so I don't know what else to add to that. Well, I'll tell you this. Nobody's mentioned this to her in the videos, and thank you for that. But I was kind of worried because of how shallow some of the pots are. As in they don't have enough dirt in them. Now, one of them's potatoes, and that's done on purpose so she can hill up the potatoes later on. But the other ones are like that because we ran out of soil. And she was in too big of a hurry to get started before Daddy went and got another load of soil with the dump trailer. So I was like this close, a hair away from saying, "Hey Tracy, I know it's going to set you back a week, but why don't you fill those other 2 pots up and replant your lettuce and replant your cucumber and make sure those seeds get some better light on them." And no sooner did I think to say that, did I go peek my eye at the plantings and come to find out she's got seedlings coming up. And then I brought it to her attention and said, "Hey, had you watered your plants today?" And she came out and saw that there were seedlings, and then she wanted to shoot a video about that, which is the one we're going to have to reshoot. So despite them kind of being in pretty good shade as far as I can tell, they seem to be germinating quite well. So we'll see where it goes. Maybe we'll all learn something from an 11-year-old first-time gardener, that you can get away with less light than you think you can. Who knows? All right, so that takes us through all of last week. So let's think about what might be coming up next week. So the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener, you can go to their website, which is thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com. There's a radio tab, and you can also search for WNOV. It's 8:60 a.m. where they are. The show will go out Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Central Time. So the call letters again, if you want to try to look it up, WNOV, Whiskey November Oscar Victor, or you can go to the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com. So check them out. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's kind of like, you know, you do your own YouTube channel and you think, well, maybe one day the the broadcast stations. Somehow something about that makes it feel more real. Maybe somebody on real TV will want to come put you on TV, or you do a podcast and maybe one day you'll be on the real radio. So it's kind of a little dream. You put out an ebook, and one day maybe, even though you technically publish something, maybe one day a publisher will contact you and you put out a real book. So something feels more real about it, even if you were putting out the information before. So good on you guys. Good on you. All right, so let's, before we talk about next week, because I don't really want to spoil things, I want you guys to just come back to the channel and see things.
We could just show them pictures.
Yeah, I want to show the pictures. We're going to step into that. So let's get into Picture Show. Ready?
Yes.
All right. Mama, you want to talk through this, or you want me to do it? Because you took 90% of these.
I took them, but I want you to talk about them.
All right. Well, this is an Elliott's blueberry. It's a wild blueberry. Many people would call it a huckleberry, but it's called a wild blueberry, and these are some blooms coming off of it. We actually discovered this plant this weekend. We had no idea that it was there, and we are tickled to death with it because the one that we tried to transplant on our own did not do well. But this one is in a convenient location, so we don't have to walk way back in the woods to find it like where we got the other one from that we tried to transplant. But you'll see more about that in another video in the future. So, but just really, blueberry flowers are just kind of pretty little things, just little tubular flowers like that. All right.
And they're little.
Yeah, that's really little. That's smaller than a dime. Didn't put anything there for perspective, but they're pretty tiny. Alright, so this is the plum tree, and we've got 2 blossoms on it, and I was happy to see after going out there, going outside this morning after our frost, that the petals did not fall off, so maybe everything will be alright. And like I said, that's just one of 2 that are out now, so we're hoping the rest of the tree will all come at one time, and maybe we'll actually get something pollinated. Last year we had a couple immature fruits that they ended up dropping off the tree throughout the season, so we've never had one go fully ripe, and we hope maybe this will be the year.
And it's not much bigger than the plum or than the blueberry flowers, surprisingly.
Yeah. So this is the base of that plum tree, and most of our fruit trees look like this right now. For want of space for where I'm going to plant peas, I planted rings of peas around all the fruit trees, and I have no clue if this is going to work or not, but we'll try it. They are tall telephone peas. They're not official Alderman Farms peas, but they're tall telephone peas. And we'll see. Maybe they grab onto that trunk, and maybe they go up, maybe they don't. We'll see. But if nothing else, they'll provide a little bit of extra nitrogen into the soil there around the base of that tree. This is a flower on our Forsythia. Unfortunately, this is in an area that right when most of the other Forsythia plants are blooming in the area, this is meaning like in the county. This is still in shade, and so in about 2 months this will be in sun almost the entire day, but for right now it's in shade. So instead of stalks of pretty yellow flowers, we've just got a couple sporadic ones. And then here's a close-up of some of the leaves, but you can see a little yellow flower back behind it and another yellow flower over there. But with any luck, we'll be able to take some cuttings off of this and plant some Forsythia, maybe up at the end of our driveway where it should get a lot more light and give us a lot more color coming out of winter.
Tawana says your camera takes great pictures.
Well, it's just a cell phone. You should get one. Let's see. That's a good lesson, though. I mean, I have struggled for a long time wanting to have the best equipment. I want the big, what are they got, 4K TVs out now, so I want like the 6K video camera,
Yeah.
And really when it boils down to it, a half decent smartphone gets you by every single day. So I mean, that's not to take anything away from professional photographers that can do absolutely stunning things with true cameras and true camcorders, but what you're seeing here was done with a cell phone, and it's not even the newest one. It's not even within the last 3 years the newest one. So you know, hey, get by. Okay, next here, these are some commercial varieties of blueberries. I'm not going to get into too much detail because there will be a video coming out on those soon, so you'll just have to come back for that later. But we have some new blueberries on the property, so we'll leave it at that. And I'm sure many of you, even those a couple zones north of us, are starting to see the daffodils come out. So these are one of our daffodils, and I actually took these daffodils off of an abandoned lot that had started getting overgrown, and decided just to pull off the road one day with a 5-gallon bucket and a trowel. And I dug down about 6 inches to find the bulbs and pulled them up, and this is the second spring now that we've had them. So we had them one summer, fall and winter. Then this will be not one spring but the second spring, so just to kind of give you an idea of them actually blooming, and they're starting to finally settle in and do pretty well. So maybe in another year or two we'll start to see them split off and come up with more. You know how they like to propagate and spread. So all right, these are the pansies that are planted back by the citrus tree area, and they just love that spot. They've been out there uncovered in 18-degree Fahrenheit weather, and they just pop right back up and rebloom. So we're really happy with that. And violets of all kinds are essentially edible, so it's kind of cool to have them sitting there, and they're just pretty to look at. This is another daffodil, but this is a new planting. These bulbs just went in last fall, and so now they're starting to come up for the first time. So even though they're actually getting more sun than the other daffodil we already showed you, it's getting a little bit late of a start. And so the fun thing about this is I know I purchased several different colors and varieties, but I don't remember which. So when I planted them in a very specific way to try to get splashes of color all over this area, but now I don't remember even what colors they are. So it'll be kind of neat to see when those start to actually come out, what we have.
And the one right there is actually a bulb getting ready to flower.
Yeah, there's a flower bulb right there. And this is a montage shot of the kind of the clover area. This is a part of the clover field where there's also grass growing up. All the white you can see are little grass flower heads. But the clover is doing really well in this area, and it shouldn't be too far off that we start getting clover spikes and seeing bees all over the clover field, and then we can start posting pictures and make it look like we live in Ireland, and that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right. And I think everybody anywhere near us is starting to see their figs leaf out. So this is our fig tree that is planted out back by what used to be the chicken coop, and now where the pigs are. And I know you can't see the ground, but there's still a straight down from where the J's are here on the logo is still a bit of a depression in the ground. So we're hoping that to collect some water and see just how big this fig tree will get. Maybe one day we can rival Alderman Farms like 30-foot wide fig tree, but I don't know. It may take a few decades to get to that impressive size.
Susan Sullivan wants to know what kind of grass was intermixed with the clover.
I believe it's Bermuda grass, but I'm really not on. I really am not positive. This is gonna distort everything, but there we go. Woo, that got up close. Any grass experts out there? I think Bermuda grass was quite unfortunately planted on purpose at one point in this area before we understood how terrible Jennifer's grass allergies are. And now this is growing, so I don't know. It's gonna be Bermuda or Bahia or something like that. But there's some close-up shots for you, and maybe somebody who knows more about grass species can speak up and say, oh, that's definitely this, or it's definitely that. But that's the best I can do for you, is to zoom in and hope maybe you can get an idea for yourself what kind it is. There's a pretty big bunch of it there. But there you go. Okay. Alright, so that's it for the picture show. If you didn't see this video, then you must not follow us on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, because I posted this video, and I'm going to let it play here for you and mute my microphone so you can listen to it. Alright, so that's just a fun little video of a tree that needed to come down, or another planting that we're doing that'll come out in a video later. You all know from us trying to grow the acorn trees that we don't just drop trees willy-nilly. We're not trying to deforest our little 7 acres. There's a reason this tree needed to come down, and we'll share that with you later. But some interesting things to note. Watch where this tree lands. Jennifer had the camera tripod sitting right there. And she knew that just did not feel right, and so she moved it back another swale to actually take this video. And good thing she did, or we would have lost potentially $1,000 worth of video equipment right there. And you know, I had a lot of people comment on the video on other social media places that man, that was brave with that fertilizer cone there, that fertilizer spreader. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've ever had a tree not go the direction I wanted it to. Maybe that's because I'm anal retentive and I take my time to make my cuts and I don't just breeze through things. With a big tree like this, I breeze through the saplings, but you know, it was quite purposeful. I mean, over here's the telephone wire and all the things that are on it, and over here is that, and I maybe came off about a foot closer to the fertilizer spreader than I meant to. I would have liked to have been a foot closer to the telephone pole.
I think there was only one time where that tree rolled on you and didn't land where you wanted it.
And I can't even remember that instance right now. So, yeah. All right, we're going to do the round robin real quick, answer some Q&As because our time is almost up. If somebody knows, one of our moderators knows if Homesteading with Dutch is going to be on, please make sure you post that in the comments and give them a link over to Homesteading with Dutch. So way back at the beginning here, we had somebody ask, have we tried crushed ginger in the kombucha? No. We just shot like 5 minutes before coming in the room for this live show, the next kombucha episode. So we're still in the fermenting and brewing stage, so we're not to the flavor stage yet. All right, we got another question here. Do we use leaf mold? We have not used leaf mold. I would like to. I know that it's simply a matter of making a pile of leaves and letting it mold underneath, but we haven't done that yet. But leaf mold, I'm a believer in. Do we do collard greens? Yes, I've got a couple different collard green plants growing in my green stock garden right now, but I don't really like cooked greens, with very few exceptions. So we normally just have them chopped up in salads. Do I recommend planting certain root vegetables together? No. I don't think you should. And really the first thing that's coming to mind is when you harvest one root vegetable, you're disturbing the ground where the other root vegetable is. I wouldn't interplant root vegetables. I don't I don't think you would want to. If you know of a situation I'm not thinking about, then I'm happy to listen to it. But my instinct would be to say keep root vegetables separate from each other. Have I done grafting? Is another question here from Bob Homestead. Yes, in fact, we have one apple tree in the front yard now that is one that I grafted at our local extension office a year and a half ago. So we'll see if it comes back to life this year. I'm not sure
They
yet.
required it for you to pass a class.
It was part of the Master Gardener's training stuff. So, Susan Sullivan, I do not even know how to pronounce what you asked me if I have it. So I'm just going to go with no. It's like I don't
Japanoka?
I don't know what Japanoka is. So no, if we have it, then I don't know. And Susan also is able to confirm that homesteading with Dutch or keeping it Dutch is going to be on. So, folks, with that, our time is quickly expiring. Please come back and check out every video that's coming out this next week, 8 p.m. Central Time, every day of the week for the foreseeable future. On every topic you could possibly imagine, from different plantings to food-related things to projects, just projects. So make sure you check that out. Thank you all so much for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.